got some energy in here.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, there's some power there.
Oh, it is definitely.
I'm getting pulled into the vortex.
That's a part of the presentation right there.
Tobacco is used as the opening of your awareness to come into the awareness of your heart. The way tobacco is used today is a bent and twisted cyborg mutation of what tobacco was originally used for. It is a hot natured herb, so you have to drink with water, but when you correctly make the concentration to match your body, it's easy for you to have flying dreams after drinking about an ounce or two. How many of us have ever had flying dreams? Isn't it the most beautiful experience? This herb here will help you fly. Nicotiana rustica. So look up wild tobacco online. You can also look up how to prepare it. The simplest way is 1 bundle to 1 gallon. Chop it up into a food processor. Bring it to a boil. Let simmer for 12 hours. Preferably with music. All right? African raw, Syrian root. I'm going to give you the recipe. Would y'all like it?
Yes.
First, do not take it if you're pregnant or on medication such as high blood pressure medication. All right? It's known as a myo inhibitor. What that simply means is if your body isn't clean and healthy, don't try to put on the afterburners to take off. Because you need to go through the herbal cleansing. Oh, take some out, brother. Each of you take some. Keep it with you. If any of you have a medicine pouch or you have crystals, you place the herbs to create the bridge with the crystals and the sacred herbs. But you're not getting none in my poncho. See, I'm holding on to that. There's a reason for that. With the Syrian root, the best way to start as far as preparation, bake at 350 degrees for approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Then grind down to a powder. You can use a Vitamix. Add to approximately, say, a gallon of water. Say about 6 ounces of raw African rum to a gallon of water. Add 1 ounce of lemon juice so that you can change the pH of the water. And when you change the pH of the water, the active elements that's inside this wonderful ancient herb is released into the water. Everybody with me?
Yep.
What this will do with regular use, and it was also used by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, the mystery schools of ancient Egypt, the shamans of North Africa, it allows you to extend your awareness. So I have available at my table some, not much of it, available in the Pineal Gland tea. The balance of the herbs are used by Shaolin monks to hear the one-hand clap, to quiet the mind, because often living in the concrete jungle, in the canyon city, our minds start to become overwhelmed with the snow of electronic pollution. Can I get an ashe? Okay. The electronic pollution affects us to be randomly thinking thoughts, experiencing energies, because we are in touch with the low frequency vibrations. By drinking certain sacred herbs such as African raw, such as wild tobacco, you can allow yourself to be raised above the frequencies that are harmful, such as cell phones, such as the computers, such as being in the subway system. So, when I began my journey in self-discovery, the first herb that we used to have ceremony with, that was done for thousands of years throughout the world, is tobacco ceremonies. In the form of tea, not smoke. Some people throughout the world use smoke, but the majority of indigenous people have used wild tobacco in the form of tea. following herb, again, take your time, get familiar with it. It is an amazingly wonderful herb that you can add a little bit of honey to sweeten. And some may even realize it tastes similar to coffee. But don't drink a whole lot, too much. When you're getting acquainted with herbs, family, you take a little bit, start with 2 or 3 ounces, stay indoors, don't go clubbing. Take the time, treat the herb as a sacred friend. Get acquainted and quiet with gentle music. That's what I want to share tonight, this afternoon. Yes, I do have bottles. Oh, no, can I do that?
Yeah.
Alkaline like nature design. But before I jump to the quartz, is there any questions about the herb? African raw? Everybody took the notes they wanted? For 1 gallon, 1 ounce of lemon juice, no more than 2. Otherwise, you're going to have some African raw lemonade. And then you'll be sharing some of that, and people will be wondering why. See a trailer behind their hand. Why some people might feel, drop the inhibitions a little more. You don't want to go there like that. A lot of us are experiencing emotional stress. We are literally, some people are walking around living time bomb. And when given certain sacred herbs in a high enough dose or concentration, it's like somebody opened up the trap door and all that stress, back pressure from not being expressive starts to rise. You don't want that. Start easy. Okay? Now, we all have times that we have to go out and scream. So if you really want to hit it heavy, once you get familiar with it, go to the beach, to the park, so that you're not in your apartment and you feel so good that you start to scream and holler and somebody call the cops. There's some problems in the house. I'm speaking from experience. Right? This is all experience. No smoke. We already smoke if we're living in New York City. You're smoking right now because the air coming through those filters is dirty. You look up at the air discharge ducts, you can almost see the soot. So you're smoking right now while you're sitting in this lecture hall. Believe me, I'm real familiar with that air supply coming into this building. All right? The other city buildings. So, that is an overview, basics 101 of wild tobacco, African raw, known as Syrian rose. Okay? Now, moving to the blue quartz bottle. My motto for the bottles is called Alkaline like nature design. Simply put, where's all glass from? Sand. When you look at a particle of sand, what do you see? Crystals. Every ocean is surrounded by what? Sand. On the bottom of the ocean is sand. On the sides are quartz, rocks, and the surface, along the edges of the beaches, sand. It's quartz. Every river is surrounded by what? River rocks. On the bottom, on the sides, you go to the Hudson River, you go to the East River, for us locals, you will find huge quartz boulders sitting along the river's edge, and if you, as a kid, you might have sat on there with your bicycle behind you, like I did. It's crystal. New York City is mostly crystal. They still don't understand how the air is ionized in New York City. It's ionized from the quartz in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx. Quartz ionizes not only the air, but it alkalizes the water. Quartz, activated quartz, activates water to become alkaline. So if the lights go out, and those of us who are fortunate enough to buy an alkaline machine instead of a car, used car, you can go back to your quartz alkaline bottle. Now, quartz activated glass is the material that I use in the bottle. What that simply means is I put it through an electrical process to awaken the dormant crystal molecules in each bottle. So that when you place water inside the bottle, it will immediately, at the speed of quartz, crystal technology, as you find in your computers, as you find in your wristwatches, as you will find in future transportation, as you will find in our brother Abdur's crystal jewelry. Raise your hand, brother. He does laser alkalinity with his quartz jewelry, activating the quartz with laser technology. That's cutting edge. So that's why I got to give him a shout out. Y'all give him a hand. Genius in our community. Laser is concentrated light. You have to feed crystals to activate them. Crystals used to be fed by a woman's sacred moon essence discharge. You don't take crystals and just use them and snatch them like a Borg off Star Trek. Y'all familiar with Borgs? Half machine, half man. We've come to take and not give. We will assimilate you. Resistance is futile. What you would be considered are the outlaws of the Borg society. You got that?
Yeah.
Independent thinkers? So, anytime you go to elders in the tradition of ancient times, you give offerings. Some would give offerings of tobacco. Your family can come and visit from the south. They would bring pie, iced tea. That tradition has been lost because now we go over to the house and say, what you got to eat? What you got to eat? What you bring? You got to bring something to get something. So with crystals, the way to activate them, clean them with teaspoons. Some people may disagree, but so far this is the most powerful way to clean a crystal. Apple cider vinegar, 4 ounces apple cider vinegar, 2 ounces of sea salt, and about 12 ounces of water. That crystal will be screaming clean. Did you get that? Apple cider vinegar, sea salt, and water. Feed the crystal. Men, once a month, take a sample of your liquid crystal and place it on the crystal. And don't let anybody handle your stuff once you let it evaporate in the sun. Women, the most powerful energy you have is your moon time. Take a drop, place it on the crystal, let it dry in the moonlight. Then that crystal is ready to give you assistance in whatever you desire. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying I got that kind of essence on the blue quartz bottles. Don't have to worry about that. However, this is what I want you to think about. If in nature, where alkalinity is generated by oceans, rivers, streams, you have ionization of the air. To know if you're in touch with nature by using an alkaline machine, where's the ionized air when you turn the machine on? Do you have an ionized kitchen when you turn on the alkaline machine? No, you don't. But it's a move in the right direction. It is not the absolute. So many of us, including myself, I had to go into the plant kingdom to look for answers how to create alkaline water. So I give tribute to my own I am divinity and the opening of the way with the sacred herbs from the plant kingdom. There are actually people who have gotten Nobel Peace Prizes because they took ayahuasca and got a complex insight on how to develop DNA replication and a whole sorts of other things. Okay. So when you take the quartz, the blue quartz bottle, fill it up with water, it instantly alkalizes the water. And the most beautiful thing you can do at night is place it in a bowl of water to ionize your room. This becomes a transmitter, and the bowl literally becomes a dust collector. And that is how nature also cleanses the air with alkalinity and ionization. Everybody all right? I want to thank Shabazz for giving me this time. Thank my brother Bobby. And I'm going to sit down with you and hear the magic he's about to do. Thank you.
Peace, everybody. I want to give a shout out to someone who just came in the door. It's a brother named Jason back there. He's a nutritional coach. He does all manner of things on the line of what you just heard this brother doing. That's part of my team that I roll with. It's a group called Soul. That's Sons of Universal Light, Universal Love, however you put it. But we meet and we do meditation and we do a lot of things. Come on, I want to just show you the people. Come here, man. He's just going to introduce to the people. Brother Jason will be.
But still yet let them visit.
And also Brother Hank Rising Son will be outside with the crystals for the water, the bottles.
Take all that off.
With the bottles, and he also does a lot of, these are his bottles that he manufactures himself, and it alkalines the water naturally. This is Brother Jason. He's going to be here when Dr. Mitchell Gibson comes. He's going to open actually for him. Y'all going to see his classes. The brother's bad. I love this brother, and he's on point. I love you, man. Peace.
I love the work this brother's doing in the community. We need this information.
All right, no doubt. Peace, man. Peace, peace.
Love you, man.
All right, without any further ado, I'm going to bring y'all the master, Brother Bobby Hemmitt.
Since we're dealing with the pineal gland, this is what came about a month ago, like in a vision. Brother already just a bad witness when he stepped in to this thing, how powerful this is. This is going to be one of the charts that you can get to, you stare in it each day as many times as you want, and you train your third eye. We're going to go into the science of that, but this is a device that we will be using. We're going to go into the science of that today and go further into this particular information, and it is equipped with several things. It's almost as if each symbol came to be put into something to make it a device, to make it a device that you can actually use. And when the Spirit gives you stuff, it works. And the Spirit gives you stuff, I mean, it really is right on point. And so therefore, and we just got bad witness with the brother that felt the energy. Now this is interesting here. Last time I did a lecture was in New York, was in January. Last time I did a lecture. So I took a 4-month break by choice. You know, well, it was 6 months actually. It was January and this is in June. And certain thing happened to me this past last, I guess, 24 hours. So like I said, I had a lecture in January of this year. Didn't do no lectures up until today. Something happened between that time, because what happened was the reason why the Spirit didn't allow me to actually feel inspired to go on a certain amount of lectures, and I got a lot of offers, is because I was going through your own transformation, which has been the case since I've been lecturing. This month here will mark the 19th year that I started. I've been studying over 20-something years, but I started in 1992 with the Dogon lecture, and I think June 27th of this month will be 19 years. 19 years, and I started when I was 30. I'll be 50 in November the 28th, which is called the 50 Gates of Understanding. So once you entered into your 50th year, throughout the whole time when I was doing all this research, I was also going through my own initiation. And that's the reason how you'll last. See, if a lot of people just do research for data and do stuff, they don't last very long because they're on a certain path, and when that style or when that particular information go out, they go out with that particular information. That's why everybody should be in their own path of initiation of what they call the hero's journey, and that way somebody can always find you on the path doing some work. You see what I'm saying? Based on what's privy to the path that you own at that particular time. So people used to accuse me, say, man, you're not talking about the stuff you talked about in the 90s. Yeah, that's because I talked about it in the 90s. Everything is ongoing. Everything is ongoing. You see what I'm saying? And you must change with what's going as far as the research. You've already done that. Now, before you do it, it's the mystery. It's spiritual. Once you tap into it and you present it, it becomes data. Because you've already done it. And if you keep doing that data or keep trying to present the same stuff, then it becomes a religion, a theology. You see what I'm saying? A theology. And that's where we get trapped. You must keep going. And we'll get into some of the science on that. So pretty much, as long as I was doing the work and the research, I was also going through my form of initiation. So when I decided in January that I'm going to chill for a minute, and I said, well, I can take them lectures and put them off during the summer and just, and put them back and just see what's going on. And as you can imagine, with the weather and everything else that's been going on since January, it's amazing stuff. But what happened was they also wanted me to see a certain thing. When I went through the airport in January, they got this nuclear machine they got now. And it scans your body and it shows all this stuff on you. And I did that in January. Yesterday when I went through, I didn't show up. So they couldn't find nothing. Now what had happened, that's called your light body has gone to a certain level. And so it couldn't be detected on the radiation. So what happened was, when I didn't show up, they stopped me and told me to go back through again. So when I went back through again, didn't show up again. Now mind you me, I don't know what's going on until I got on the plane, and about 15 minutes or 20 minutes into the flight, I realized what was going on. Because she said, you moved. And when you move like that, you don't show. I'm like, come on now. I moved. What it was, she was trying to put it together in her mind, this sister, on why I didn't register on this radiation machine. So as a result, I had to go through the pat down. And I cleared the pat down, and all of that, And so, but I was wondering, I said, man, this is kind of awkward. Why would this happen this way? And then when I got on the machine, when I got on the plane, I said, oh, I got it. I didn't show up on the radiation machine or nothing. It was a blank. But what had happened was, between January and yesterday, you have series of going through several dimensions. Your light body goes through several dimensions. So you are not where you were 6 months ago, especially if you're conscious and you aligning yourself with a certain amount of energies. You see what I'm saying? And so what happened was, we know, because we got these black cats, and they'll disappear in and out of these dimensions. So what I didn't realize was when they was disappearing in and out of dimensions, me and my queen was disappearing in and out of dimensions. But for some reason, because we live such a physical life, a lot of times we're someplace and still thinking we someplace else. So when I went through the scanner, I was in another dimension. I was in another world. And so Linda was like, well, when you go through this time, so these people don't put you on some checklist. Look out, Mr. Superman. Materialize yourself before you go through. Before you go through, materialize yourself. So the point I'm trying to make here is, this is in the same alignment with these tornadoes that come out of nowhere, And all of a sudden these tornadoes are looking like nuclear bombs. You see what I'm saying? And they're trying to make all these excuses about some warm weather and all this kind of stuff in the jet stream and all that bullshit, and they know what time it is. You see, because when the one hit Alabama, it went from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham. And they knew what time it is. When that hit, Barack Obama gave his birth certificate. That hit on a Tuesday or something. Barack Obama gave his birth certificate. And the next thing you know, they're taking down Bin Laden. Bin Laden died in 2001. They wouldn't even have a villain and blow up a building and have somebody living that can get caught and tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So these are programs that they put in for mind control. You see what I'm saying? For mind control. So there's things that's actually happening. You see. And the next thing you know, the whole Bin Laden thing comes out. If he had his birth certificate from the beginning and knew it, why didn't he present it from the beginning? Because you got to realize these things are a series of programs that's used to make news and used to distract people. And then when they get the distraction to a certain point, then he'll come out with the birth certificate. Or they'll come out with Bin Laden. You see what I'm saying? After literally 11 years. You see what I'm saying? You see, or 10 years. So you got to look at things like that and understand the same forces that brought the tornadoes and brought the earthquake in Japan is the same things where we're changing dimensionally. We're going to get into some of that. We're going to get into some of that as we go on. But right now I want to, we're dedicating this lecture to the Sister Hatshepsut or the Sister Burt Lockett or Alberta Lockett. Now she made the transition. Now I went to go get a transparency, but the machine was down, so I have the actual picture. But I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna log this into the actual camera, so the people in TV land, when they get it, they can see. This is a picture of Alberta Lockett, or what they call Burt Lockett. This is her mother, and this is Dr. Ben. Now this was at Bert's 70th birthday back in 2003. I think she would have been, not 2003, 2007. She would have been 74 on her birthday this coming December. This coming December. This was her mother that died maybe about 2 years ago, and Bert grieved for like 2 years. Sometimes you gotta let stuff, she grieved for like 2 years. Sometimes they say the grieving process is supposed to last a year. She grieved for like 2 years and made the transition. Now, I don't know nothing about no water or nothing like that. I'm just going to tell you what she was saying in the hospital room as a coherent person. And so we're going to have to let the water experts hash that out. I'm not a water expert, you know what I'm saying? I fuck around and drink a Mountain Dew on your ass in a minute. Now, I am an expert on this stuff right here. Alcohol. But she claimed that the Kenyan water killed her. And nobody wasn't hearing it. So, like I said, but I did know she grieved for a while and certain things came to a head. You see what I'm saying and all. And I did know that she really, grieved for a minute over her mother making the transition. So, you can't just make statements. But my point here is we do have Hank Rising Sun. We do have 2 other water experts that's going to appear on the Raspberry Remix, or what they call a remix, which is the Sister Blues show. And so in the next couple of months, and they'll hash out what the deal is, you see, on this type of thing here. But what we do know, like he said, if the electricity shuts off and your machine, you can't get your machine, because there's several of these alkaline machines, you can pour water in this bottle. And I bear witness to that. You see what I'm saying? You can pour water in this bottle and stuff and all. And he has those bottles out there. on the table. But what makes this woman so special is this woman is responsible. Number one, she's responsible because Valentine had been doing work in the community for years. But she was the one that she was the one that actually brought Valentine out. Because it was 1994, she had Deborah Blair to come to speak, and she had Valentine to open for Blair. And after that, you see what I'm saying? And then after that, you know, there's Henry DiBernardo. She was the first to bring me here. I started in 92. She was the first to bring me here in the spring of 94. The spring of 94. So you can say she was a pioneer in bringing certain people out. Now, people, you know, Bert was a little rough around the edges as far as her appearance. But then again, that's one of those goddess things like a Sheena Master or a Kali or a Oya. You must try to understand and profile the process of different entities we have. And that's why we don't need to judge people, because the simple fact, everybody's not supposed to be the same way. You understand what I'm saying? And we need certain people to appear a certain way to deprogram you. Now it's interesting because this is the god Ganesha, what they call Gana Ishu. So Ishu is the god of the opener of the way, or the god of the crossroads. In India it's called Ganesha, but Ganesha is broken down in Sanskrit as Gana Ishu, which means that's African in origin. You see what I'm saying? African in origin, and you have an Indian elephant, or Asian elephant, and you have an African elephant, which is bigger, but nevertheless there is this connection. One of the things they say is the first people he's the most popular deity in India. And the first people to accept him is children. Children can look at things and be at awe with it. And they're the first to accept Ganesha. You see what I'm saying? Adults have a little problem with a big-bellied, elephant head man with several arms, because we are trapped into certain design to make us judge. You see, it takes a lot to break down an adult, you see what I'm saying, to use a certain definition of what they're experiencing, or to gain a certain definition of what they're experiencing. It's just like a brother. Like I said, I went to college for years, and not because I was so academically inclined. It's just that I used to take at least 12 hours so I could have a place to stay. 3 hearts in a car. You see, so I was up in there about damn near 8 years up in that baby, just living, taking my classes and shit. So nobody can't tell me nothing about the world of college, but I did remember this thing. One of the brothers that loved my work, and he didn't reject it. You got some people just out reject it. He was trying to understand this metaphysical thing. But he was getting a PhD in some type of political revolutionary thing. It was a political science, but he had tapped into the revolutionary thing because his heroes was Malcolm, his heroes was Marcus Garvey and so, but he was